Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we've got our great friend Jose. How you doing today, Jose?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. What you been up to?
Um, just recently, we just brought to light our website that we've been working on.
Well, no. What have you been up to? What you been
Oh,
doing? Is it today your day off?
yes. Today, I'm with my kids. So my wife's a nurse. She works in the Novi Hospital and some surgery centers around here. So when she's on, I'm on here, and we're kind of on opposite schedules because during COVID, but we're doing just fine.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
yes,
That's good.
today is just running after the kids.
Hey, hold on. Alexa, turn off Jerry's fan. For some reason, my fan decided to turn on. It must be on the schedule. So your wife's a hero, huh?
She is a hero. She's a
Yeah,
very big time hero. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah. She we how do you say it? Just we're just so lucky to have her. I'm so lucky to have her.
yeah.
We're all lucky to have her.
So I've got I think I don't know. I just have a special place in my heart for people that are working in that field on the front line, going in every day with so many people sometimes being irresponsible about it. So kudos to you and your family for supporting that and getting out there. So
Thank you,
you're
Jim.
all you're all absorbing some risk there, and we all appreciate it.
Thank you.
So before we get into you and your projects, we've got a little bit of a surprise. We've got Jeremy out in the field, so he's gonna kind of show us from Capital City Market. Please let us
Hey, Jeremy.
do
Hey, hey, everybody.
so. So we wanted to order food from you today, but today's your day that you're closed. So you do have some food at the Capital City Market. So I'm trying to get Jeremy to show the display and kind of show us where you're at in the grab and go section. And do you want to tell us what you have there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at the Capital City Market, a very, very awesome market that's trying to represent a lot of local vendors here in the Greater Lansing area. So we're at the Capital City Market. We're in the grab and go section, and we have two of our best-selling salads. One is called La Diosa that Jeremy has in his hands. That is a vegan salad. It's not very a traditional Peruvian salad, but it's one that we made at farmers markets for our vegan customers. So it's got barley, kale, lentils, and a house tahini dressing that's very yummy.
Yeah.
And then our other salad that we have there is a traditional one. It's called solterito de quinoa. It's a quinoa salad. Quinoa was considered the mother grain is still considered to the culture in the Andes Mountains in South America. So quinoa, there's huacatay in there. There's cannellini beans, cheese. It's a vegetarian, gluten-free salad.
All right.
Very, very yummy. They're entree salads. A lot of people sometimes might think they're just a little snack salad, but it'll fill you up.
That's awesome. And so I've ordered lunch, and Jeremy's going to be leaving Capital City Market and riding his bike down to the Fledge. So Jeremy's with Red Bike Delivery, serving as my reporter in the field today. So I'm going to take him off screen, and we'll check on his progress later when he
Awesome.
comes and delivers it.
Thank you, guys.
So, and I don't usually get to have lunch during my show, so I'm super excited. And when can I get the pisco sour to go?
So I can't that so that I mean we do before pre-COVID I did a lot of in-home private dining in your home for like up to 10 people. I would bring a bartender if it was more than 10. But we also did a bunch of pop-ups too. So as soon as it's safe for us to come back inside, I mean that's something that at Tantay we do I think pretty well is we create a nice experience, a different experience.
Yeah.
Pisco definitely is part of that experience.
I want to get in the queue for that because I think that would be awesome to have a pop-up of Tantay here. So as we talk about Tantay a little bit, we also are very interested in Jose. So, can you tell us a little bit about you, like maybe where you were born and raised, what high schools or colleges you went to, or anything like that?
Yeah. Oof. All right. So I was born in Lima, Peru, 1985. My parents were already living in Miami Beach. My parents are Peruvian, and at the time I was born in Peru, they brought me back to Miami Beach. Grew up in Miami most of my life, but we were fortunate that my father, my grandfather, uncles worked in the airline industry. So back then we got to travel quite a bit back and forth to visit all my grandparents, most of my cousins who were in Lima.
Uh,
So back and forth, I lived in. We moved to Peru around my early teenage years. I spent in Peru and Lima, and then moved back to Miami, where I finished high school. I went to high school in Miami Beach Senior High School.
all
Right
right.
there, go High Tides. Right there in South Beach, pretty much across the street from the Holocaust Museum, which is a must visit place to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived in Miami. Aviation was the bug in my blood since I can remember. So I was very much into airplanes, anything that flew really. So after high school, I decided to go to Purdue University. I was there for about 2.5 years doing trying to get through astronautical engineering. It was just a time in my life that I wasn't, really ready to finish there. So I went back to Florida, transferred into Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and that's where I decided my path to become an aircraft technician.
Okay.
After getting licensures, started working. I worked in aviation for a total of 12 years before I got into what I'm doing now.
Okay. So I've got a question about Peru.
Yeah.
I always see on I've never been and I would love to go. And we share a friend, Peter Reeves,
That's right.
who always talks to me about Peruvian food and talk to me about the pisco sours and all of that. But I always see these mountains that are these multiple like rainbow color in Peru. Is that real? I mean, it looks doctored.
I know it's called Rainbow Mountain in English. I've never been there. Peru is very, very big. It's a big country, and really those wonderful places that you can go visit. It's a hike to get there. You got to plan it. But yeah, that's one of the wonders that we have there in Peru, other than like Machu Picchu, the jungle. But I mean, it's very, very fascinating once you get into the Andes Mountains and see really what those cultures, like the Incas, left behind, hundreds of years ago.
Yeah,
it's really cool. But there's some really neat stuff over there.
It is definitely on my bucket list. It is one place that I would love to visit in this world. So tell us more about Tantay.
So I started Tantay about in March of 2019, I believe. Yeah. So we're coming close to. Actually, no, that's not true. We're in March of next year. We'll be 2 years in operation now since I started.
Okay.
So I started. At the beginning, I wanted to do something different. I wasn't seeing my family very much. I was on a night shift, 4 days a week, sometimes 5, an hour away. So I was really, spending time driving and just doing something that I thought I was passionate about, but really more of my passion was really my family and my friends that I had here, So I wanted to start I'm sorry, 1 second. I'm going to tell my kids to turn down their show. Just 1 second, okay?
It's actually not that bad. I mean, but
okay.
do as you wish. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't check in on Jeremy because I think I lost his stream, but he's on his way with the food.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So I started Tantay really. I met up with a really close friend of mine, Jr. He's a business consultant, and he challenged me in terms of like, okay, why do you want to quit your job and do what you want to do? And at first I was like, I want people to know what Peruvian cuisine is, and I want them to try it. I think everyone's ready for it. Everyone's eating all these other things, and Peruvian cuisine is basically, familiar ingredients put in a different way. But he challenged me. He's like, "What do you really, really want to do?" And I created a why statement. I thought about it. I talked to my wife, and really, it is I love people. I really love people, and I want to. I'm the happiest when I'm around friends, family, strangers. So I want to create an environment basically that offers that inclusion, but through an experience. Because ultimately I do also want to that is my goal is to bring a wonderful culture here for the first time to the greater Lansing area.
Yeah.
Um,
So I've got a surprise here. Just came up without getting my mask, but here.
Nice,
get in the
Jeremy.
screen.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was fast.
Just show it's the same person. See?
What's up, Jeremy?
All right.
Man, that was quick.
So I've got my food.
Thank you, Red Bike
Oh.
Delivery.
Mr.
Oh.
Cheesecake. I
Oh
got-
yes, that's my boy right there. Heck yeah, Marcus is amazing.
Oh, I didn't tip you, Jeremy. I've got my salad and I've got my kombucha.
Kombucha, yes, apple blossom kombucha.
Yeah. So Mr. Leslie, I've had here for the hatching. He pitched down in the studio. But I haven't, but he hasn't been on the show yet. And then Apple Blossom was on the show a couple months ago, and now you're on the show today. So, and shout out to Capital City Market for getting local and bringing these upstarts into their ecosystem and selling their products. So, very good with that. Sorry, that was a little. I didn't actually expect him to be here that fast. So shout out to Red Bike Delivery.
Heck yeah, shout out to Red Bike Delivery, yeah.
And getting that to me. I didn't get a fork, so that's going to be a problem, but I'll get to there in a second. When I think I first met you at the hatching, and
Yes.
you did pretty well. You won a little money. Yeah. And one thing that fascinated me was the meal's one thing, but it's an experience. Like you talked about kids playing on the floor, and tell me more about that, because it's more than just the food, and you're really hitting on that when Jeremy walked in.
Yeah, absolutely. Within our team, we just don't want to have a restaurant, and which we've been really, when I mentioned earlier about the website, that's big for us because that's really going to tie everything together as people continue to follow us. Because pre-COVID, we were doing cooking classes for seniors, at the Allen Neighborhood Center. I did cooking classes for LCC's Spanish Club. I did catering on MSU or MSU vendor. We did pop-ups. So it's basically, it's an omnidirectional, I think, product, what Tantay is. We want to really try to hit different not markets, but everybody, if we can, and in the meantime, learning from that. But yes, ultimately, it's that environment, that climate that I wanna develop. Bring your kids, bring them. If you don't mind. The way I grew up was with my family, uncles, having their drinks, some barbecue going on, the grill's going on. And kids are just running into uncles and other friends and stuff, and it's it's fun, And what I've noticed, I've only lived here for almost 8 years now, and what I've noticed is that this is a small town. Everyone knows each other. Nice. Everyone has a connection. It might take a while to make a connection, but all of us have a connection. I feel like here in this town, and for me, my wife and I love to go out with friends, and we love our kids, and we take them with us. But sometimes it's tough, we're sitting here and my kids are as social as I am, and they're just like, hey, what are you doing? What are you eating? Look at my new jacket or something, and I just want to create an environment where, we're all there, and bring everybody. You know,
Nice.
if we can, we'll accommodate you. You know.
I don't know if I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be able to eat this because I'm having a little trouble opening it when trying to pay attention to you. Sorry.
No worries.
But
No worries.
I'm getting there. I have to take at least one bite on screen. Plus, my mouth is watering because this looks.
Excellent.
I don't even.
Thank
it
you.
looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I went to a Peruvian restaurant with Peter in Washington, D.C. And what's the fish that's in the lemon or something?
So the dish is called ceviche. Normally in Lima we use different fish, but you know basically you can use any saltwater fish. Really, is what's recommended. Saltwater.
Okay.
The fresher, the better. But yeah, that's ceviche. We've done that a couple times here. I'll use halibut, snapper, sole. But yeah, grouper sometimes. But you want like a flaky white fish, saltwater fish.
Yeah. I had that food was so good, and this is so. I just took my first bite. Sorry,
No worries.
I'm gonna have greens in my teeth and everything. But this is absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna set it to the side. I'm gonna take another bite as soon as you start talking. Then I'm gonna set it to the side for a minute. Is there so how would you kind of sum up what your mission is? Like, you know, I think about we have Taco Tuesday, right? And then hey, it's Chinese night or whatever at your home. I think Hamburger Helper ran a whole commercial. Don't eat Hamburger Helper, people. But anyways, ran a whole, you know, ad of, you know, pick a Hamburger Helper night. And how are you gonna make Peruvian food, you know, a household name like that?
You know, I think it's by just continuing to connect with our community. That's the reason why I started going into people's homes first, then farmers markets. That was something that I wanted to do from the beginning. You know, it wasn't about really, you know, making the most money at the beginning. Like it was more like, okay, you know, let's make our money so that we can continue to do what we want to do. But at the same time is make that connection. Listen, what do people want? You know, I went to people's homes that had kids and I asked them, what are you looking for in a restaurant? Where do you go? You know, and what's missing? So basically my first year was just listening and making connections with the people at the farmers markets. That was huge too. Because ultimately what I want is I would love for people to eat Tantay, our food to join us. But not only because of the food, but also because where the food's coming from. Something that we did very well during the summer and the fall was locally source, you know, our food, and we use it a lot from Magnolia Farms, Green Eagle Farms down in I forget the name, Onondaga.
Yeah.
And sorry,
That's all right.
where'd you go here? And also, I want people to ask who's making our food. That's something that's really important to me. I want Tantay to be a place where anyone can work there. We're going to treat you well. We're going to pay you well, over average. You know, all these things. I am constantly learning, asking questions, because this is what ultimately I want Tantay to be. You know, so I want it to be that you know, when you're eating the food, you're representing so much more. We're representing so much more. You're supporting much more than that. So that is the goal. That's the ultimate goal. That's what we're trying to get to.
And you know, you are super impressive with, like, I watch you at the farmers market. You just know everybody. You're saying hi to everybody. I feel like comfortable and welcome around you all the time. So you are the perfect person to make this vision come true.
Thanks,
what do you do every damn day to kind of push that mission forward and get closer to that vision?
You know, the first thing I try to do a lot is just try to be really appreciative of what I have. I try to just it's hard for me to sometimes to just sit back and kind of like chill for a little bit. I have a lot of energy, and sometimes I tell my team, like, if I'm going like a million miles an hour and I don't make sense, just please tell me, you're not making sense right now. But I really try to motivate myself with just it can be music. I got a banging like an awesome playlist that I have that really just pumps me up. It just depends on what my mood is, but I really try to self motivate myself, and that can be like a workout or really just think about my family and what I have right now. What I have right now and has got me through this COVID, this pandemic so far, is my family, my kids, my wife, and then my team. Those are the only, and just my family that I have here that I see. Some people that I see once in a while, but mostly it's my family and my team. Those are the most of the people that I see, in the kitchen, at home. So I think about them a lot, really, to be honest with you. Yeah.
You're amazing, Jose. I would bet that you have a heartache about not being able to be together, and that those pop-ups or the what you want to show with the community coming together for a meal.
Mm-hmm.
It must be hard, huh? During COVID.
It's been a little. It's hard for me. I think this is the way I am. It's personally hard for me to say. It has been difficult, and just for me being able to do things, for me, it's I've never had the biggest issue in focusing, but it's always been kind of like a little obstacle for me, and this pandemic has really come in the best, like honestly, it's been the best thing that's happened to me. Like, I'm going to be completely frank with you, because it's caused me to just really, really focus on what I want, and then just kind of like use that kind of like, restrictions on everything else that I had going on to just really allow me to like really, really focus on what I want and understand what I need to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot if you had a question.
Well, I was just asking you about what you did every damn day, and I love the gratitude answer, because that can help a lot if you can just stop for a second, look around, and say, "I'm super lucky to have this. I'm very grateful for this." So, I think it's great.
Yeah, and that's that's what I was gonna say, is that just comparatively speaking, like we're lucky we don't have a brick and mortar. We don't have any of those things. We're very lucky, because a lot of restaurants, I mean, there's nothing that I can compare to that. There's no, my obstacles are way less than theirs right now. But yeah, I can't wait to go to people's homes again. I can't wait to do pop-ups. I can't wait to do cooking classes. There's a lot of things we want to do. So I just, I can't wait till, we'll get to that point.
I can't wait for all that either. So we daisy chain our shows together, and yesterday I had a young man named Max on the show, and he does a clothing brand. He's out in Los Angeles, and he also works for an organization called Force of Nature. And his question that he wanted to ask you, or wanted me to ask you, is what did you want to do when you were young, and are you doing it now? And I don't know how much, if we answered that much, but yeah.
That I don't think can't remember the last time I had that question from anybody, but I think that what I wanted to always do was become a leader, a boss. I think it was more of a boss, like a boss of something, or be really good at something. And at that point, it was always like had to do with airplanes. It could be a pilot, engineer, rocket scientist, aircraft technician, but now I am doing it. I think I'm in a position right now in a leadership role with Tantay, and I have a team. I really take that, like that's something that I really am taking so seriously, very, very seriously. I've had wonderful leaders. I've had not really great leaders, and I've learned from all of them. But one of my missions is to become a good leader. So I am doing it now. Yes, I am. And I'm really, it like fills me up, but it also it's a responsibility that I don't take, lightly. I take it seriously, and I just want to, I want to continue doing, I want to continue learning,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to, I be as a kid. And I'm doing that now. I'm really happy about that now that I'm thinking about it.
That's awesome. And I think you have a ton of qualities in being one of the best leaders I'll probably ever know, with what you do with community, what you do with the continual learning. And more importantly, it seems like you really listen to people and understand them before you're trying to make them understand you, which is a spectacular habit to have. I have been totally impressed with you and your food, your restaurant, or not the restaurant, but the pop-up, I guess. Do you call it a restaurant?
Pop-up
Yeah,
restaurant.
pop-up restaurant.
We will be one. We'll be a restaurant.
Yeah, I know, and I can't wait for that either. And I can't wait to see you in the middle of my sanctuary in the middle of a pop-up. That'll be awesome. And there will be a post-COVID. We will get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tomorrow on the show, I have a woman named Pam Lynch, and she is the founder of Michigan, or Harm Reduction Michigan. So she works in substance use disorders and trying to prevent overdose and the spread of, hepatitis C and HIV and all of that. What question would you like me to pass on to Pam?
Based on, the assumption that she's, involved in seeing, a group of people from different walks of life, what methods or what does Pam do to kind of, I guess I don't want to use the word attack, but, focus on each one, so that she understands them. And like you said, how they understand, her.
Uh-huh.
When there's numerous people, that you're dealing with, that's something that I ask myself sometimes. There's only 4 of us, 5 of us total, but I try to understand everybody, or figure out ways how to get more in touch, right? So I wonder.
You're doing my job for me, because I'm supposed to turn that question on you and ask you a bit. But that's exactly what in the harm reduction world, she would say meeting people where they're at. Okay. And I don't want to change your phraseology there. Mm-hmm. But I am going to ask you the question you were answering. What do you do to kind of, attack that problem? You've got me. I understand. I'm like, Peruvian. Yes, let's do it, because I've heard of it. And tried it before, and then other people and all kinds of different backgrounds we all have. Lansing's very diverse, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yes, it is. It's very diverse. What I do, at least what I try to do with with our team is, I try to ask the question, how are you? Are you doing good today? Is there anything you need from me? Just to it's not to keep a finger on the pulse, but just to let them know that I'm here, at least I try to do that. I try to do it as much as I can. But I think that, at least for me, my team is everything, so it's my job to keep that connection.
I want to make a comment about something you said earlier. You're really paying your employees above average wages, and that will make me come to your restaurant for sure. I think that is a very important part of, one, what we should do as decent human beings, but 2, everything you're going to do is going to be through your employees. You're going to reach me through your employees. And if you have, people say the customer is always first, but a lot of people like Richard Branson and those guys say, no, the employees are first. You treat them right, they'll treat the customers right. And I love, I'm not saying you said that, but I love your stance on a living wage and a fair wage. So kudos to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So now we're kind of wrapping up, and I'm gonna say my goodbyes and all of that. But something I didn't prepare you for. What's something you'd like to tell us all? What's something you'd like to go out on this show today?
Since I moved here 8 years ago, I didn't have any friends here. I met most of my friends through soccer. They all work in different parts of the industry. But what I want to say is that I've only been here for 8 years, and I know there's really awesome people here in Lansing. I know it. I know it. And that just keeps me really, really hopeful. And not only hopeful for like everybody, but also for any entrepreneur. Any entrepreneur that's got that grit, that passion, that like push. There's people out there that they can help them, including you, CISO, everyone involved with the hatching. Like that was huge. And I know that what you're doing with the pitches, the 99 pitches, right?
Yeah. 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one.
So that's all I want to say, really, because I've only been here for almost 8 years, and I have some friends that are doing some awesome stuff for Michigan, for small communities. Like there's a lot of really good people in this town.
Okay. Well, we are extremely lucky to have you. I think that you make our average compassion go up. I think you make our intelligence go up. I think you make our wages go up, and you make our diversity of the things we can try and do and experience. And the more diverse we are, the bigger our brain gets, the bigger our opportunities get. And you're really helping us make the community stronger. And I just want to tell you, I'm so glad you're here, Jose.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I really, really, really appreciate the opportunity.
So stick around with me after I end the broadcast, and everyone out there, stay tuned tomorrow for another episode of Every Damn Day. And yes, we will be doing it on Christmas. Poverty never takes a break. Entrepreneurs don't get the break. We got to keep solving these problems in our community. So as I sign away, see you later. See you, Jose.
Thank you, Jerry. See you, man.